time to discuss the Premier League once again. Round four was a blast. It was pretty exciting, and there's a lot to talk about post game. And first off, Victor, let's talk about the Manchester derby. I mean, Manchester City defeated Manchester United 3-0. Something Max is not going to like. I remember in our preview, I did say United were not going to score. I thought it was going to be 2-0. My prediction was 2-0. I said they won't even score. But the biggest takeaway is that after the game, Amorim said that he is not going to change his philosophy and his system at the club. So, Victor, do you think his reluctance going forward is going to be his biggest downfall at the club?
If you remember, Postecoglou was just as stubborn at Spurs when they started
Yeah.
losing defenders like socks in a dryer, and look what happened. He was sacked even after he delivered the trophy. Um, Again, disclaimer: I'm not saying coaches should be rotated that often, but Man United keep getting it so wrong with their managerial appointments that it's not even funny anymore. I don't think right now that there's any course of action for the club than to cut your losses and try someone else, because this is clearly not working.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I agree with that. And moving on to Aston Villa, Max, they still remain yet without a goal, the only team in all of England's top seven divisions. What do you think has gone wrong for them so far, Max?
Well, I don't actually know because I wouldn't say that they're playing this bad as everybody talking because in total they have like above 3 XG in these games. They must have scored at least one or two, definitely, but overall I just feel like it's a bad start for them, but I still expect them to climb because their team is decent, their coach is decent, so I expect them to be in top 10 at least, so I feel like just a bad start for them.
Yeah, fair enough. But this is more than just a bad start. Not scoring at all is pretty something. But yeah, anyways, over to you once again, Victor. Liverpool once again won in late fashion against Burnley. I don't know what Hannibal was thinking when he decided to do that. But the question is, will they be able to get away with late finishes this season, just like they did last term rather? Hmm.
Even if you compare to last season, what they're delivering right now is just some next level heart attack Fergie time football, and it's just not sustainable. They need to start playing better, and they need to start doing it yesterday. If you keep relying on late rallies or opponents' collapses like this, they might end up trophyless this campaign. I don't think that would get Arne Slot sacked, and I don't think it should get him sacked either. But it would be a very curious turn of events for a champion team to strengthen so solidly and then finish trophyless the next season.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, now they are even calling it the slot time. Right. But yeah, I think it's not a question of whether it is sustainable. For me, I think the only reason it was sustainable for Liverpool is because teams like Arsenal and other teams last season, they were not good enough. But I think this time around, it will not work in my opinion. But yeah, moving on and over to you, Max. So Arsenal once again won against Nottingham Forest, 3-0. But people are saying, oh, aside Liverpool, they are yet to play a proper team. And the first proper team they played in Liverpool, they lost. So the question to you, Max, is that are Arsenal looking good actually, or do you agree that they are yet to play a proper team aside Liverpool? I mean, we've played United, so you have to be careful about your answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say actually the only game that they played bad, I'd say it was first game against United, but they still won, and it shows something that they're climbing as a club because currently they're when they face the weaker teams, they definitely win. They just have a squad depth that they can even play second roster and win still. So I feel like yeah they lost against Liverpool, but they looked okay in this game. So I'd say I don't expect them to be below top three actually. Even though I said before the season that they're not making top three, but currently they're looking decent. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna be in title race until February at least.
Yeah, fair enough. Back to you, Victor. Sunderland managed to get a result against Crystal Palace. I remember how we were talking about this in the preview, that this was one of the most difficult games to predict, and it ended goalless. But after looking at that result, are Sunderland looking like good value to exceed expectations this season?
It's a very loaded question, because I don't believe that the expectations before a ball was kicked were any loftier than survival. You know, even with the amount of money that they spend this summer, that's the goal. When you're coming up, that's the goal. You're not going to be fighting for Europe. Even mid-table is a bit too ambitious, right? They do look much, much better than the promoted sides from the last 2 seasons. So staying up should not be a huge problem for them. So now it's a matter of adjusting expectations. As for exceeding them, there's room for it because there are sides that used to be mid-table and have regressed, like United, right, Max? So there's a bit of a vacuum in that bit of a table. The question is, can they fill it on current evidence? I don't see why not. They've been playing very well for a newly promoted side. Would them be finishing mid-table considered exceeding expectations? I would say probably. Right now, they're also coming up on a relatively easy run of fixtures with Villa, Forest, and United before the international break, and Wolves after that. So I think there's a lot of cause for optimism for them.
Yeah, fair enough. And just on a final note, Max, Tottenham are the second joint highest scoring side in the league so far this season. How important will their attack be in their hopes and aspirations this season?
You actually skipped the question, and we should, I guess, re-record this side.
Okay. Yeah, true.
You missed
So I'll
Chelsea.
just ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I'll just
ask me about Chelsea.
I'll
Yeah.
just ask it again. Yeah, so over to you, Max. Chelsea dropped points late in the game against Brentford, and when you look at other top sides like Liverpool, they've got Van Dijk and Konate. Arsenal, they've got Saliba and Gabriel. When you look at Chelsea with Tosin and Chalobah, do you think their defense is a major weakness compared to the other top sides?
I'd say it's not only about the defense, but also for the goalkeeper. I just still feel like that Sanchez is not a top tier goalkeeper, especially for Prem, because I have Donnarumma, Ederson back then, but he left, Alisson, Raya. He's not on the same level, let's say. And also they're going to play in UCL as well, and I feel like it will cost them a lot in Prem actually, and they will be happy to finish at least in top 5 if they still go in far in Champions League. So yeah, that's probably like that.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I agree with you that they have lots of, in quotes, average players across multiple positions on the pitch. But moving over to another London side, and on the final note, over to you, Victor. We're talking about Spurs, and now they are the second joint highest scoring side in the league this season with 8 goals. How important would their attack be in their hopes and aspirations this season?
I mean, yeah, they're looking decent, aren't they? I can't say I'm surprised by this. Thomas Frank has always had a positive approach, so seeing them bang in the goals isn't exactly shocking, at least to me. The defense also looks better now, mainly because we're comparing to the absolute shit show of an injury crisis that they had last year. Um, but yeah, I think they should be able to challenge for some sort of trophy this season. I think the Prem and the Champions League are out of their league. But an FA Cup or a League Cup would be more than welcome at Spurs. And they will still most likely look silly in some games over the course of the season, as they usually do, but they'll be entertaining if nothing else.
Yeah, fair enough. And there you have it. Those are our thoughts and our conclusions from Premier League round 4. The league is going on fast and quick, and we're looking forward to other games happening once again. And of course, we've got more big games coming in round 5. United taking on Chelsea. I think Arsenal taking on City as well. So it promises to be an action-packed weekend. And as usual, we'll be giving you all the best talking points or the best bits in our Premier League preview for round 5. Stay tuned so you don't miss out.